The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand sparked the First World War, which also triggered the alliance system of the European nations. Woodrow Wilson was the president during the First World War. During this time, David Lloyd George was the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Georges Clemenceau was the Prime Minister of France, Vladimir Lenin was the leader of Russia, Benito Mussolini was the dictator of Italy, and Adolf Hitler was the Nazi dictator. World War I was between 1914 and 1918. It began August 4, 1914, when Germany invaded Belgium. May 7, 1915, a German U-boat sank the passenger liner Lusitania, killing more than 120 Americans. February 25, 1917, Britain sends the Zimmermann telegram to Mexico proposing to side with Germany. In return, Germany promised their land back in Texas. April 6, 1917, the United States entered the First World War. The war began to come to an end when, on November 11, 1918, the armistice was signed, which ended fighting on the Western Front. The 1920s. The election of 1920 was between Warren G. Harding and James M. Cox, where Warren G. Harding won. The League of Nations was founded during the 1920s, and this was created so that there would not be a repeat of what happened in World War I. During this time, new industries were beginning to rise, for example, mass production, which is where large-scale manufacturing with machinery was taking place. Henry Ford created the assembly line, and his first project was the Model T car, which came in every color as long as it was black. Because of the rise of cars and their use of cars, other industries boomed. For example, steel, glass, oil, and the boom of these industries also led to job opportunities. The radio industry began, and the first radio station was KDKA. During this time, the radio station were used for mass communication and things like that. Immigrants began to come from South and Eastern Europe in the 1920s. Also during this time, women were finally granted suffrage. In Tennessee, a thing called the Scopes Trial happened, and this taught that anything that went against the creation of man, as described in the Bible, was outlawed. The 18th Amendment made alcohol illegal, also known as prohibition, but people openly ignored this law and went to secret bars, and it kind of became a business to sell alcohol illegally and just so that people wouldn't know. But the 21st Amendment then ratified the 18th to make it legal to drink alcohol and to sell alcohol after the age of 21.
Created using Powtoon.